hearts go out to the citizens of, LA County, and also to all of our, fire personnel that are down there, our local government cooperatives, as well as our Cal Fire folks. So, thinking about them, and we are glad to send a helping hand and glad to send resources directly to the fire and also to their different units to cover behind them. So as of yesterday, there was approximately 106 personnel down there from Butte County, and then we just sent a strike team consisting of 5 engines and a leader down there. So that's 15, 16. So looking at about 122 personnel, give or take. A large percentage of that number is our Magalia Fire Center hand crew resources, because they are staffed anywhere between 12 and 16 hand crew members on their hand crews. So with that 122 total personnel that we have down there, they're down there either as single resources, fire line leaders, camp support personnel, or part of a strike team of engines. And again, we have that one Type 3 strike team that's down there. And then we also have 2 other engines that are attached to Nevada Yuba Placer strike teams as well down there. And then again, our Type 2 Butte County strike team that is on the road right now. So about 122 personnel. Anticipate that number going up as more resource orders come in and more people are available to take those assignments. In the past, when we were dealing with the drought up here in Northern California, there was perhaps a potential for something like that to happen up here if we have that style of winds. But the last few years, with the normal and exceptional amount of rain that we have been getting, that threat has subsided for us up here in Northern California in the wintertime. But again, we've been there before. We've been down in Southern California in the fall. We've had initial attack and extended attack incidents in February and March up here. It doesn't happen every year, but sometimes it does. Again, we're fortunate up here to receive that wetting rain in the fall and then into the winter. But one thing I'm thinking about is fire season's right around the corner, even though we're in January. Depending on how the long-term forecast is looking, we're shaping up to kind of be back where we were last year. So I encourage all citizens right now to start getting out and creating that defensible space. Start burning those piles that you have on your property, and start thinking about home hardening, specifically that zone 0, that first 1 to 5 feet from your home. Now's the time to start thinking about it and getting outside working when it's cooler and when the conditions are more favorable for your burning, for your residential burning. Yeah. I mean, just the citizens of Butte County. We all know what happens during fire season, but a natural disaster can occur any time of the year, whether it be an earthquake, a flood, something like that. So it's important to have an evacuation plan from your home, and then have some type of go bag, or at least know where those critical items that you need to take with you if you need to evacuate your home, where those are at and located, so that you can get them efficiently, safely, and get out of there. So, just something always to think about. Where is my zone located in Butte County? What are the current weather conditions around me? Are there any natural weather patterns that are coming in that could, affect, the weather locally, and it could, perhaps pose a threat to my house? So, not only thinking about evacuations, go bags, and planning during the fire season, but also year round, because of all natural disasters, and because frankly we're a year-round fire department, and fire season's potentially year-round. I talked to the strike team that's as part of the Eaton fire. They again went on Tuesday night when the fire kicked off, code 3 from San Bernardino, and they worked a solid 36 hours. They just got off the fire line yesterday morning, probably about between 8 and 10 in the morning. So yesterday was their R&R day, and then today they'll be back on the fire line assigned to the Eaton fire. So I haven't talked to them in the last couple days, but the winds were blowing when they were going code 3 to the Eaton fire from San Bernardino. I was on the phone with them, and they witnessed several big rigs that were just toppled over. So the wind was so strong, it was knocking big rigs over, and he was struggling to keep in his lane while driving code 3 to the incident. So Those winds were torrential. And when we have a mega fire like that, unfortunately, we just can't get our folks close enough to go direct to put the fire out. It's just all about structured defense, evacuations, and protecting and helping the citizens that are in the area. Once those winds typically subside and an incident has the resources that they requested, that's when you start kind of getting a handle on the fire, start going direct and putting direct line around the fire. So based on my experience, I anticipate in Southern California, once this wind subsides and they have the sufficient amount of resources, that they'll be able to get a handle on those incidents fairly quickly. Yeah, absolutely. Helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft are definitely limited by the weather that's out there. So when you do have extreme winds like that, aircraft may not be effective. They may be able to fly, but their water dropping, their water drops or the retardant drops aren't going to be effective because of the wind. So, I would guess that during those first 24 to 48 hours, when they were having 75 to 100 mile an hour winds, there wasn't a lot of aircraft on the fire just because of the conditions that persisted. Correct. Yeah. So our aircraft, basically, they're able to get in and kind of slow the progression of the fire, kind of check it up, and then allowing time for our ground resources in there to go in and go direct around the fire. And so once conditions are warranted and those air resources are effective, then they will be, full bore, water dropping in and utilizing retardant as necessary. It's just like anything. When you go on a trip and you see some new country, you're just kind of observing what you got going on. It may be unfamiliar terrain or territory, but it's the same job. So the same tactics and strategies that we employ up here in Butte County, they employ down in Southern California. So it's once you kind of get your feet underneath you and figure out kind of where you're at and where you're going, that's kind of the hard part. The easy part is getting in, assimilating with the crews that are down there and fighting fire, because that's what we do every day. All of our crews are trained to the same minimum standards, and some of them exceeded that. But again, all of our Type 3 engines carry the same amount of wildland hose, the same equipment, the same appliances, the same adapters. So we're able to work pretty much flawlessly with our resources as we assimilate with them and they assimilate with us. So the last I heard from our hand crews was they were covering a camp down in Southern California. However, I don't know if they've been assigned in the last couple of days. Very fluid. So once you get it down to a cover assignment, then you are a Southern California resource. So you could be down there for your cover assignment for 6 to 8 hours, and then they dispatch you to an incident in Southern California. So they could be covering, they could be on one of those major incidents, or just running initial attack fires with that local unit as well. So again, even though we have large fires going on, we still have that day-to-day business that we're having to take care of: medical aid, structure fires, traffic collisions, and also initial attack fires. And so that's why it's important for all resources, all Cal Fire units to reciprocate the coverage and kind of lend a helping hand when needed. The strike team 9210 Charlie that left on Sunday, they're assigned to the Eaton fire. The Type 2 Butte County strike team that just left the unit, as we were interviewing, they're going to the Palisades fire. Correct. And then the numerous overhead personnel, fire line leaders, and camp support personnel are, most of them are heading to the Palisades, with some going to the Eaton as well. I anticipate more overhead personnel from the Butte unit perhaps going down there to fulfill those fire line leader jobs or those camp support jobs. You just got to see when those orders come in, what the needs are, and the availability of our folks. We need to kind of balance sending people out of county and also covering Butte County behind those people that we sent out of county as well. So it's definitely a balancing act. I don't have an estimate of when they would be home, but when they do start demobilizing resources, they start from the resources that are farthest away and they demobilize them first. And so just so they can get home, they have a longer drive time. So you basically your resources that initially attacked the fire are going to be close, and then unfortunately they're going to be the last ones to be released because they're located close by or it's their jurisdiction. So that's kind of how they demobilize and release resources, based on geographical locations. Out-of-state resources first, and then Northern California, and then etc. No, I mean, for all of our brothers and sisters in Southern California, our hearts go out to you. We're, no stranger to major fires, and being in Butte, and being from Butte County. So we're proud to go down there and assist our brothers and sisters, with Cal Fire, our local government cooperators, and also assist the citizens down there. Provide a little empathy and compassion, and help them, navigate perhaps their property and some of their valuables if need be.